Hello, my name is Brenda Byers, and I belong to the Baden Storytellers Guild. Beginning in the fall, we meet the second Friday of each month at the Button Factory in Waterloo, and we hope you'll come and tell a story or just listen to the others that are told on those evenings. Also, we'll be telling at Joseph Schneider Haus for the Heart Hand Festival on the 22nd of September. So come out and see and hear all the action that's going on that day. Now I think I will tell you a story that I heard recently from an Irish storyteller while I was up in the North Country. There was once a peddler who lived in a place called Swaffham in the county of Norfolk, which is in England. Every morning the peddler got up, put his pack on his back, and with his little dog at his heels, he went from village to village selling his wares, everything from pots and pans to thimbles. Times were hard, and people weren't buying the items they used to buy, and there were many a night when the peddler and his little dog curled up at the hearth fire and went to sleep with their bellies full only of hunger. And one night the peddler had a dream, and in his dream he heard a voice that said, "Go to London Bridge, where you will hear joyful news." Well, in the morning the peddler woke up and remembered the dream, but he thought nothing of it, for you know, sometimes dreams are born of hunger. But the next night, didn't he have the same dream? "Go to London Bridge," the voice said, "and you will have joyful news." Well, again in the morning the peddler shrugged it off, and by lunchtime he'd forgotten all about it. But then again, on the third night, he had the same dream. "Go to London Bridge and you will hear joyful news." Well, when the peddler woke that morning, he said to himself, "When dreams come in threes, there's usually something to them." And he went right away to London Bridge. It took him a day and a night and a night and a day. Now at that time, London Bridge was lined with shops, and above the shops there were flats where people lived, and so there was a great hustle and bustle, far more than the peddler ever knew in Swaffham. Well, he walked up and down the bridge and back and forth. He sat down and had his lunch for a while, and he listened carefully for joyful news. But he didn't hear any. And so he stayed over. And the second day he did the same. He walked up and down the bridge and back and forth. He sat down on a different bench this time and had his lunch, watched the people go by, and he listened, but no, nothing. So he stayed over yet another night. And he walked up and down the bridge, and you know, by noon he said to himself, I think it's time to go home. When a shopkeeper came out into the street, and he laid his hand on the peddler's arm, and he said, friend, it's a good morning, isn't it?" And the peddler said, "Yes, sir, it is." He said, "Friend, I'm very curious about something. I've been watching you the last 3 days walk back and forth, up and down London Bridge. And I see you aren't selling anything." No, said the peddler, "I have nothing to sell." "I see you aren't buying anything." No, I have nothing to buy." "And you aren't begging." "Well, sir, as long as these 2 hands are strong and good, I'll have no need to beg." "And do you mind telling me what it is you're doing?" Well, the peddler said, "I'll tell you the truth. For the past 3 nights in a row, I had a dream. To come to London Bridge, and I would hear joyful news, and so I came." Well, the shopkeeper started to laugh, and he laughed heartily. What kind of a foolish man would that be, to come to London Bridge for the sake of a silly dream? Now, I myself have dreams all the time. I don't act on them. Why, just last night, I had a dream that I went to a place called Swaffham in the county of Norfolk. I've never even heard of it. But in my dream, I went to an orchard behind some peddler's house, and in that orchard there was an old oak tree, and I took a shovel and began digging at its root, and do you know, I uncovered a vast treasure. You don't see me running off to a place called Swaffham to unearth a vast treasure. Now, take wit from one wiser than you, sir. Go home and mind your business." Well, the peddler said, "I think I'll do just that." And he turned around and he hurried home. A day and a night and a night and a day, and when he got there, he borrowed a shovel from one of his neighbors, and he went out into the orchard behind his house. Oh, he knew that oak tree, yes he did, for he'd sat beneath its shade many a day. And he began to dig, and he dug. Before long, he unearthed a vast treasure. And he fixed his little house. He put a roof on. He and his dog never went hungry again, but do you know, that peddler never lost his true nature. He remembered and was kind to all the people in Swaffham. He helped the poor, and he gave some money to the church so they could rebuild that part which was crumbling. And mind you, if you go to Swaffham today and into that church, you will see wooden statues of a man, John Chapman, who has a pack on his back and a little dog at his heels. John Chapman is peddler of Swaffham. Thank you for listening, and to hear more, the second Fridays of every month, beginning in the autumn at the Button Factory. And don't forget to come to Heart Hand Festival on the 22nd of September. See you there.